there's so much going on, but there's really nothing going on. I mean, literally, we're in that weird spot now where,
Well, we're going to talk about the weather again.
yeah, hot weather talk. Well, you said that we have so much sports to talk about, and we really, well, unless you want to get into the four nations. I mean,
I do actually.
Yeah,
that's next on my notes here.
There you go.
Well, I saw that
I tried to tell you about it, and no one wanted to listen to me, and now all of a sudden we're paying attention to it.
Well, I saw that the NHL Four Nations.
Yes. Ooh, I like that you put a little pizzazz on
French on that.
Thank you. It was in Montreal.
I know. That's why I did that.
They booed the hell out of us.
I saw that it outdrew. Oh, wait. No, they don't know if it outdrew All-Star Saturday Night yet, right? Because they don't have the ratings yet for All-Star Saturday Night?
Yeah, I don't think so. In the United States, I think it was like 4.7, 4.8. And then
4.4 is what I have here.
4.4?
I'm talking about All-Star Saturday Night in the NBA.
Oh, yeah.
So the NHL, whatever, the Four Nations.
That was their All-Star game.
Yes, but it's still going on.
Yes.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
But okay. It got a 4.4, and they said that was the highest rating for a non-Stanley Cup hockey game.
Yes.
Non-Stanley Cup final hockey game since 2019, which is huge.
Yeah, it's huge. And then up in Canada,
and that was the U.S.-Canada game?
Yeah, and that was, so the last time they played international, best on best.
We won?
No. Canada got us in overtime. Sidney Crosby. But that was 8 years ago. We haven't been able to play them with best on the best international. It drew almost 12 million up in Canada. So it was a monster number. I mean, this thing was concocted by the NHL. Same thing, like no one cared about the All-Star game. They had played around with different formats. They said, screw the All-Star game. Let's take 2 weeks off. We'll put the 4 teams on there, see what happens. And it has just been a monster for them. Because when you put the flag on the front of your jersey, these guys care. I mean, they're like...
No, I know. Some guy from the Flyers said that this is this final.
Yeah.
Because now it's U.S.-Canada again.
Yes.
On Thursday, he said this is the biggest... He's a Canadian guy. He said this is the biggest game of his life.
Yes.
That's what he said.
Dylan Larkin, he's on the American squad. He scored the game-winning goal when U.S. and Canada, and he's the Red Wings captain. And my Red Wings have been terrible since Dylan Larkin's been in the league. He's 28, 29. And he said this was that game against Canada. The first one, he said, this is the biggest game of my life. So think about that you have guys that are basically saying that their All-Star game, this version of the NHL All-Star game, is the biggest game they've ever played in. And then you take that and you put that next to anything we do in the Pro Bowl, anything we do in the certainly whatever NBA, festivity you want. And it's all buy-in. When you get buy-in, you get an unbelievable product.
But hockey's a little unique.
Yes.
Because you couldn't do this in football because
No.
they're all American.
Yes.
And you can do it in the NBA. That's what they're talking about now, is that
Yes.
this may be the blueprint for the NBA.
Yeah.
But you could only do that in the NBA recently, in the last handful of years because it used to be so lopsided.
Yeah.
But now it's getting a little bit more of an even playing field.
World Baseball Classic in baseball did this.
Baseball, you do it, but they don't seem to have that. Doesn't seem to have the pull. Like in hockey's just unique because it's a Canadian sport played in America.
Yes.
That's what it is.
I will say the last Baseball Classic they had some sauce to it.
It did, but Shohei brought a lot of that.
He did.
I mean,
but I'm telling you, if you had an NBA where
Japan cares.
Japan cares.
But I don't know that the U.S. Americans, there is no other sport, unless I'm missing something off the top of my head, no other major sport, I guess, that Americans would care about in international competition outside of hockey.
Because I think the difference with us is that this is the one sport where we aren't...
Women's soccer.
Yeah.
We get around women's soccer pretty good.
Yeah.
FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, I guess that's...
we would care. And the reason why we care about hockey now is it's the one sport we're not the cock of the walk in. If the U.S. men soccer team were to go on a World Cup run, buckle the F up. I mean, it's on. That thing would crush. It's just we are for the first time we're the underdog and we're beating up the bully. And it's usually the other way around. In basketball, in baseball, all that, we have this sense of oh well, whatever, if we really cared, we would show up and we would win.
Well, why isn't that true of hockey then?
Because we're not that good. We've never been very good in hockey. This is the best we've ever been in hockey. This is the first time these last handful of years that it feels like our team can really be competitive and go toe-to-toe with the best that Canada has to offer. And because it was their sport, and they would just kick our ass. And we weren't even the second best country. There were European countries that were better than us. And we have put a lot of time and effort into developmental program in the United States, and we are cranking out maybe not the stars that Canada has. I mean, the best players in this game are all on the Canadian side, but when you put together a team, you put together a system to play in, and all of a sudden, from 8 years ago, we damn near had them. They beat us in overtime by 1 goal, obviously. And then this year, we got them basically 2-1, but we were the better team that night, even though we didn't have the better players. So it feels like we've got a little bit of the Rocky versus Ivan Drago thing. And if there's one thing that Americans love, it's taking that underdog role, and we're the John Wayne. We're going to grab a root and hold on. We're going to take what you do, and we're going to do it better because of American exceptionalism.
Yeah, I agree with all that. And you're right about the soccer team. If we ever rise up in soccer.
If we made a run and we ended up in the Final Four of the World Cup, dude, that thing would be enormous.
But isn't it interesting that in the Olympics, where we always dominated, anybody who's alive remembers U.S., generally speaking, U.S. domination, right?
Yes.
When we don't dominate, we shrug and go, don't care.
Exactly.
So it's kind of it's almost two separate things. Like if you start on top, like if you are the king.
Basketball
is a good example, but just Olympic sports in general. I mean, we dominate.
Yeah.
Or
we've done very well.
We've done great, but way better than the other countries.
Yeah, in the summer, not in the winter, but
we love that.
Yes.
But only when we're dominating.
Yeah.
But then if you start at the bottom and it is not your sport and you're rising up like soccer and hockey,
we love it.
We don't love it until you're good.
Yeah. But that's my point. Once we get there,
so we're front runners on both.
100%.
We're front runners on both sides.
And then you throw in the fact that let me start it. For some reason, we've decided to pick a fight with Canada. I mean, my God.
Well, you go after the big boy.
But no, I'm saying as a country, we've decided to pick a fight with Canada. But that's a whole other thing.
Bitch.
And so when they booed our anthem at the beginning, not the beginning of the Canada game.
I read that.
They booed us when we played Finland. Yeah. So that game was in Montreal. Yeah. And so the first game we played was against Finland, and they booed us. They booed the anthem. And by the way, that never happens. In fact, it is the United States that boos the Canadian anthem during playoffs and during games. Canada does not do that. And so this was the first time that we've heard Canadians really boo the anthem. And
it's political.
It's political.
Yeah.
And especially in Montreal. And the U.S. players didn't like it. Mm-hmm. And even before the game, the Canada-United States game.
Ooh, we should call them the United States.
The United States. I like that. The announcer came on and in French and in English said, please let's all remember to be respectful of both national anthems. They were trying to tap it down. And the Canadian fans, they booed the hell out of the anthem, worse than they did in the first one. And that's when you knew this was much greater than a hockey game. This has taken on a weird Cold War 80s Russia-United States vibe to it.
Wait till Thursday.
Oh, the Boston fans.
So Thursday, it's U.S.-Canada rematch.
In Boston.
In Boston.
And we just got done talking about Boston fan. That anthem, when they do "Oh Canada," is going to be... It's going to be rough.
Good thing there's no one black on that Canadian team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's not a black guy.
And I'm only half kidding.
There's not one on either team.
Well, I know. I'm just saying, in Boston.
Yes. It could get ugly.
Adam Jones were on that team?
Yeah. It
might be a little rough.
It could get the learned people. No. But yeah, it's Thursday is going to be
this is fun.
Powder keg.
I'm with you though. It's kind of weird that, now all of a sudden we're going to make Canada our enemy for
no
reason.
For no reason.
But
we've just decided to hate Canada.
Hey, this is kind of fun. The NHL has found something here.
Yeah.
And you wonder if the NBA can now follow that model.
Yeah.
That's the question.
Got to try some. I also have
and I think they should try.
I've got a take on the whole NBA thing too when we come back. I know we're up against it.
Are you going to poop on the NBA again?
No, I'm not. I'm going to do the exact opposite of pooping on the NBA.
Oh, good. Okay. Did you watch All-Star Weekend?
No. I watched I was at a bar and every time I looked up, because Saturday night I was watching the hockey. Sunday I was out at a bar, and every time I looked up, they weren't playing the game. They were doing something else.
Oh.